the record button. Hit the record button.
Welcome.
We're Pac-12 live, baby.
What'd you say?
Pac-12 live.
What? It's time to breathe again on the latest breath of fresh air or BOFA Sports webcast with your host Charles Taylor, and Patrick Brackett is back with me. Good to have you back, Patrick, just in time for this huge game that is coming up between your Bulldogs and the Alabama Crimson Tide. So we will talk about that. Patrick, let me go.
I'm ready. We'll do it. I was like, that's last. I thought, but okay.
I was going to say we will talk about that momentarily, but first, we're going to talk a little bit about last week's games and see what stood out to us from last week's results before we get to this week's game and, of course, the Georgia-Alabama showdown in Tuscaloosa. So, Patrick, what stood out to you?
You got to give me just a second. I got to get to my notes. I forgot to get to my notes. I was running my mouth. Forgot to get to my notes. Since I forgot to get to my notes, now I got to pull them up real quick. So you got to give me a second.
Wait, whoa. When did you start taking notes?
Oh, I didn't. I'm just pulling up the schedule from last week. I just claimed them as notes.
Research.
Did you see that coming?
He said, "Oh no, I ain't got no notes."
Look, dude, I haven't had notes in 5 years. What makes you think I would have notes today?
I was like, "This is news to me." You're like, "Oh no, man, I just want to pull up the schedule."
Hey, look, notes is notes, man. Notes is notes. Okay, so here's a couple of things that stood out to me.
All right.
Now you got me laughing about it.
Sorry.
So I'm not going to go over any of the games that we had picked, those 6 games, because I know we're going to talk about them. So I really kind of started going over other games that I thought were just very interesting. The OU Tennessee game. I have to say something, man, about this. Like,
Patrick, we picked that game.
Did we?
Yes.
Well, okay. So we won't talk about that one.
We're gonna need you just to go back to just going off the hill. Yeah.
So what got my attention? I'm gonna rewound that. Okay. So what got my attention? How about the Missouri Vandy game?
Yes.
That was such a good game. You know, here's the thing. And I've been saying this for years, like coming up to this season, I have been telling people, like, look, Vandy's not a strong football team. They just never have been. Their sports is and other things. But here's the thing. When I look at this team and they are going nose to nose with the 7th ranked team, and it takes the 7th ranked team 2 overtimes to beat this team, I don't know what Vandy's doing when it becomes on the football field, but that coaching staff has those players believing. The athletic director has the coaches believing. Hell, I think the Gatorade quenches their thirst better in Vandy. The benches may be more comfortable because everybody in every piece of equipment is in a belief at Vandy that they can play. And I love it. I'm tired of Vandy being the foot rug of the SEC. They beat all these other conferences, man. And now they're showing up in their own conference. I am so excited for Vandy and what they're doing down there because are up there to me. But man, you can't say enough about that coaching staff at Vandy. They are really, really getting the most out of each and every one of those players. And they're not getting the high picks. They're not getting the high recruits. They are getting the mid-level recruits, dude. And they're going out there going against 4 and 5 stars, dude, holding their own. Kudos to Vandy for that one, man, because I'm super excited with what that coaching staff is doing in Vandy, man. So that's one. So I'll let you talk on that while I pick up my other one.
Sorry, the notes.
My notes.
That Missouri Vandy game was actually, that was good. A good pick by you because I was actually catching the fourth quarter of that game in between looking at USC and Michigan, and then leading up to Tennessee and Oklahoma. Vanderbilt gave Michigan everything they could handle, and you can make a argument Missouri is lucky, like very lucky, to escape with a victory there.
Vandy should hit that last-minute field goal in the second overtime.
Yeah, and Vanderbilt, they've been playing good all year, and you've had flashes throughout the years of them getting a couple of wins, looking like they could do something, and then they would play one of your stronger teams in the SEC and they get beat 58-0 or 45-3 or something, some sort of score like that. This does feel a little bit differently with Vanderbilt. This feels like they can be legit. Like they can get 5 or 6 wins in the conference and maybe push for a bowl. I do think Vanderbilt recently was at a bowl, going back to when James Franklin was the coach before he went to Penn State. But this feels like something that can be sustained as long as the coaching staff is still in place, and you're able to get somewhat decent players. Obviously, you're not going to get those 4 or 5 stars coming to Vanderbilt, but being in the
argument for it now. That's what I love about it. They're making that argument. Hey, look, we can contend here in Vanderbilt. We can contend, and if you give us an opportunity, we'll show you that.
So yeah, and so if they can keep that up, the consistency, you can lock up the coach, because you know what's going to happen if Vanderbilt starts winning 6, 7, and 8. There are going to be a lot of other programs who are going to come calling for that head coach. So it will be dependent on Vandy to get him locked up long term, and that way
get him that nice jet, get him that nice yacht. Go ahead and do it. Get him a really nice car that seats all of his kids, and put him in that big old house, and then have rose petals. Hey, you know what? You want to keep me? Every time I get out of a car, I open a door, have a theme song. I'll tell you what, 20-year contract? Absolutely. If I have a car, I get a theme song, bro. I'm in. I'm there.
So you mentioned the Tennessee Oklahoma game. Yeah, Texas North kind of got smashed.
No, we're not talking about that one yet. I want to talk
about
not?
Why are we not?
Because we're going to talk about that one. Hold on. Illinois and Nebraska, dude.
Okay.
Dude. Illinois, man, I don't know what they're doing up there. But let me tell you, all those Illinois things, we talked about this a couple of days ago, yesterday, one of the two.
One day.
All of those teams in Illinois, they're doing something. There's something in the food up there, because Northern Illinois beating Notre Dame, now Illinois beating Nebraska. I mean, there's something going on up there. Maybe Nebraska didn't pop the corn right or something. I don't know, but
Buffalo beat Northern Illinois on Saturday, so maybe that just kind of wore off for Northern Illinois. But
hey, they still beat Notre Dame, and Notre Dame has to hold that loss. Hey, join the ACC. This is karma. You're offside, and you're offside now.
And so, but that game, yes, with Illinois and Nebraska, that was. I was watching a good amount of that game on that Friday night, went into overtime, and these are 2 teams in the Big Ten I think are worth looking out for, just simply because they play pretty strong. They stay to their strengths. They run the football well. The defense is decent. You just wonder what they are going to get out of their passing game consistently. I'm not going to sit here and say they can compete with Ohio State or Oregon, but I can see where they could make that game interesting, maybe for a half or so. Ohio State, just with the sheer talent they have, the
talent and depth, man.
They have, yeah, and the depth that they have in front of just there in Columbus all together, just kind of just wears you down a while. But these are two teams, both of them. Even though Nebraska lost, I can see Nebraska still doing some damage in the conference. And Illinois, hey, they're still undefeated. They're 4-0. And, you know, with Brett Bielema coaching them, every now and again, he just has one of those years where, hey,
everybody shows up.
9-10 wins, you know?
And it might be one of those years. And it sure is looking for it for Illinois. So I like what he's doing there right now anyway. But one more game and then we'll move on to the other one. We have to talk about this one though. Did we do Michigan and USC?
Yes, we did.
Okay, well then never mind. We can move on then.
No, well, we didn't. Well, we picked it. What's your thoughts on it?
Oh well, if we're ready to talk about those six, yeah, okay.
Okay, what other game are you going to bring up?
That was it. That was the last one I wanted.
So Patrick, what the?
Look, I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
All over the place. You have to understand. I just woke up. The jet lag got me all messed up, bro.
Wow. Well, all right. Then we will talk about USC and Michigan, and then we'll talk about Tennessee and Oklahoma.
Okay.
Yeah, USC and Michigan. So this was your game where you were looking for USC to see if they could match up with that physical Big Ten style. Now, Michigan ran the ball all over the place on them. I mean, Michigan still had close to 300 yards running the ball in their win, 27-24. What I can say about USC, though, is they showed some fight. They showed some toughness. Years before, with Lincoln Riley clubs, period, if they're getting punched in the mouth like this over and over again, the rope is getting let go. And this is good. The game's going to get ugly. And USC's defense would just get pushed around, mushed around. And I mean, some of the numbers teams were putting up on them, like I said, you couldn't do that in a scrimmage. You can do that against air. The numbers that was going to get put up on USC's defense. But they actually showed some fight. They were down 14-3. They came out in the second half, got some quick touchdowns, and they were winning that game 24-20. Just could not stop Michigan from running the ball and in that last drive, and Michigan was able to pull it out. So, I mean, it was a good back and forth game.
It was really good. The one thing I was more impressed about than anything, and you know I'm not a USC fan. The University of Spoiled Children, so I always call them.
Yeah,
they were physical, and to be honest with you, if you're going to get this, I feel that USC was like, well, if we're either that or we're gonna get our butts pushed around in this conference, and they will. Even from your smaller teams like Illinois, USC might pull that game out, but let me tell you, Illinois ain't going nowhere, and neither is Nebraska, and neither is Penn State, and neither is Michigan, and neither is Ohio State. So either you man up and play physical, or you take 9 or 10 losses and you lick your wounds for next year and think you might need to do something else. So I was really impressed with how physical they played Michigan, and they fought that game, especially in that second half. They really fought that game. So kudos to Lincoln Riley for, rallying the troops at the half and making that a game, because Michigan was well on its way running away with it.
Before we get to this week's schedule, what are your thoughts on Tennessee and Oklahoma? Tennessee looked strong, man.
Tennessee did look strong, but here's the thing: is Oklahoma kept shooting themselves in the foot. You can't force Tennessee to turn over the ball on the 5-yard line two times in the red zone. You cannot force Tennessee to turn over the ball and then hand it right back to them on the very next play. You have to score on those. Whether it's 3, usually definitely 7 when you turn it over on the 5. But I mean, I was on the plane just shaking my head like Oklahoma had more than their opportunities to win that game. They really did. I mean, the defense was flying on Nico that entire game, dude. And I was just like, I got to give that defense credit. But I mean, when you're on the field for 94 plays, eventually you're going to give up points. And the fact that they only gave up 22 was, what was the score?
25-15.
25. Okay, so the fact they only gave up 25 points was actually kind of surprising from Texas North.
Yeah, Texas North's defense. And look, Brent Venables is the coach, and so you know they're gonna have defense. Yeah. And Brent Venables is one of the best minds on that side of the ball that is there in college football. I remember they were talking about it during the telecast on ABC, and I guess he acknowledged he spent some extra time on 2 offenses in particular. One was Tennessee, the other one was Ole Miss, because of the pace they like to play with and the different formations they can come with. So it was really good watching that chess match between Brent Venables and Tennessee's coach, Josh Heupel. Of course, for Heupel, this was personal. I mean, I know he tried to downplay it as much as he can, but he was a quarterback at Oklahoma for a while. Yeah. And so I'm sure that felt good for him to come on back. But you're right. OU had their chances. They forced 2 turnovers, got a couple of strip sacks, fumbles, and turned it right back over. And a defense can only do so much to hold off that Tennessee offense.
Especially if you force a Tennessee offense to turn the ball over 4 times? 4 times, 3 or 4 times, something like that. If you force that offense to turn over the ball, you got to score. You got to score. Especially, dude, I can't get over the fact that they turned the ball over on the 5-yard line, bro. Like, you got to take care of the ball. You got to, and you know, and don't get me wrong, I'm saying that about Tennessee too. Because like for me, this game didn't matter to me. You know, they're both in the SEC, so this just makes our conference stronger. But I mean, Tennessee, you can't turn the ball over on the 5-yard line and give Oklahoma that opportunity. But dang, kudos to your defense to force the turnover back over. So Oklahoma, you can't turn the ball over on the 5-yard line. You got to score that, you know? So, I mean, it was a back and forth game. Now, I know there's a lot of controversy in that game, especially with like, you know how Tennessee likes to run up tempo around the third down. And if it starts, you know, working, it's like up tempo the whole time, and then they score in like negative 20 seconds. So if Oklahoma was doing what they were talking about and faking the injuries to stop that, Oklahoma, man up. If you're not, keep doing what you're doing. But if you are doing that, it's not going to work in the SEC. Those boys are big. Those boys are mean. And you're not only dealing with Texas, but you're also dealing with Tennessee, Missouri, Georgia, Alabama, LSU, and LSU will headhunt you. Oh, you want to do that? Okay, fine. We'll make sure that injury next time is real. You know, so you got to watch out for some of them teams like LSU, because LSU will headhunt you. Okay, do that again. I dare you. You know what I mean? But if they were doing it, I don't really have an opinion. But if they were, don't do that.
You making allegations about LSU headhunting people, Patrick.
I'll call it. Their fans do it. Their fans do it. As soon as they look, the win or lose, they find the opposing team and start hammering.
The fans do. We're gonna say the team is doing it too. You need to go back to sleep. We're moving.
Fan headhunt, team headhunt.
You know what? This week's games, Patrick. So look, we're gonna. So let's bring up the big board here, and what we have in front of us is Patrick has regained the game. since the 3-3 performance from last week. The game that gave him the edge, which we didn't quite get to, but we'll touch on it here a little bit, is the Utah-Oklahoma State game, which he had picked Utah right. Remember I said last week, I wasn't sure if Patrick was going to be able to watch the webcast to get the games in. Well, he did. He got me the scores as well. Unfortunately, neither one of us predicted a correct exact final score, so we're both still sitting on the 0 for that. But as you can see, he was 5-1 last week. I was 4-2. We both missed the Illinois-Nebraska game as well. We both had Nebraska winning. And so there's your overall record. He's 8-4. I'm 9-3. And of course, it is 1 point for each correct pick and 3 points for each prediction of the final score. So
I'm going to get 2 of them this year, dude. I feel it.
Well, yeah, let's hope that feeling is not there.
Ooh,
so with that, let's get into some of these games for this week. So I'll go first this week, Patrick, because I know we're keeping Georgia and Alabama for last, and I know that'll be your game. So I'll go first, and let's jump into this one because we had talked about this team earlier. You got Illinois and Penn State playing each other.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an interesting game. So now I'm not sure if this will be Penn State's whiteout game, since it is coming on at 7:30, but it is a Saturday night game in State College. We talked about Illinois and what they are bringing. Strong running game, pretty good defense. We'll see if they can pass the ball a little bit more. They're going to need it on Saturday night if they are going to defeat Penn State. Penn State, well, we know their story too. Penn State is the team. We're just kind of waiting to see if they're able to actually step up and beat Michigan or Ohio State. But before they get there, they're going to have a test with this Illinois team. So on that note, Patrick, what do you have for your winner and final score?
First of all, I do have to say this. Because here of last couple of days into last week, I just found out, and I guess subconsciously I knew this, but it just really kind of hit me at the end of last week. Why is Penn State Stadium called Beaver Stadium?
I don't know. So I think it's named after a dude with the last name of Beaver. I really do think it's that. I'm not for sure. If anybody's watching
his first name Justin Bieber.
If whoever's a Penn State alum watching this, go ahead and holler at us and let us know. But I do think the last name of the dude that the stadium is named after is Beaver. So yeah. I don't think it has anything to do with the animal of beaver.
Well, they are, they're a lion, and they're talking about beavers,
and nothing else when it comes to beaver. So,
dude, your mind's in the gutter.
I know.
Mind's in the gutter. Are you sure? Are you sure? Because Penn State has a history of this.
Patrick, what's the score? For
I got Penn State. And look, Penn State's a good team. Illinois is a good team. I think this is where Illinois runs into, I'm not going to say a buzzsaw, but this is where Illinois does get tested. And we're going to see where Illinois really, really stands amongst the top tier teams in the Big Ten. But here's the thing. Penn State's not going to run away with it. I mean, I want to say it's like 18 and a half points. I'm like, that's a lot, dude. So I'm going to go Penn State, but I don't think it's going to be 18. I think it's going to be like, I'll go. Actually, it's pretty close, dude. Might be 18. I'll go 31-20.
31-20. All right. So I also have Penn State winning this game with it being in Penn State. It'll be closer than that, though. Penn State's been a little bit uneven with their performance. Remember, they had a struggle with Bowling Green earlier this year.
Yep.
I think they'll be able to make enough plays, and the defense will. I think they'll do enough to contain Illinois' running game and make them a little bit more one-dimensional. I mean, you can say this about a lot of teams, but Illinois definitely operates well with balance. So if you could take away the running game a little bit, I think they may struggle to pass, especially against a more, I guess, athletic secondary, more aggressive pass rush that can get pressure pretty quickly. So your score was what, 31-20?
Yeah, 31-20.
I mean, I think it's going to be something like 27-24. Penn State. I think it's going to be pretty close. I give Illinois a really good chance of winning this game. Actually, all right, no, I'll take that back. 27-21. There we go. 27-21 is what I'll go for. I think Penn State will win by close to a touchdown. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Illinois did come in there and win because Illinois plays pretty close to the best, and so you're going to have to take it from them.
Yeah. But I mean, it's really kind of weird because, like, you know, in a lot of ways, I want to pick Illinois. I really do, because, like, I'm a fan of what they're doing. You know, it's kind of like Vanderbilt. You know, I'm a huge fan of what they're doing down there, or up there. But I just think being at home, Penn State, if they, you know, and especially if they white out, bro, it's like that crowd is going to be hype. And I just think at a certain point, I just think Penn State's going to be a little more to handle than what Illinois bargained for. So that's why I'm going with the 11-point change.
All right, man, your turn to pick a game. What you get?
Louisville and Notre Dame, dude. This one's going to be good. This one's going to be good. Do I pick first? Do I pick first on every game?
No.
Okay.
Well, I guess you kind of do. But yeah, pick first on this one too.
Dude, I get thrown under the bus so much. Man, maybe I should be the host for a minute. No, I'm good. I'll give you my predictions and we're good. Here's the thing.
You kind of earned that right. You did win last year, so I'll give you that.
Damn straight I did.
By one game. It's okay. Go ahead.
Win.
Yes, it is.
Internet's the internet, and reality is reality. So there you go. All right. Louisville and Notre Dame. That's my team. All right, that's my game.
Go back to sleep.
I need to, bro. I need to, man. I woke up at 7:05. I was like, I need to get me some dinner in, and then I'm gonna go do this webcast. And I ate chicken noodle soup, and I came in here.
Has it been that rough of a day?
It's just a lack of sleep because, like, I was coming back from Pacific time.
Oh yeah, Alaska time. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a transition. It really has. Like, and I think it's catching up with me because, like, we got a little bit of, you know, clearing my throat kind of thing.
Yeah, the tickle in the throat. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's kind of catching up with me, but I think if I get me about, I don't know, 35, 40 hours of sleep, I think I'd be good.
What's your final score? 35, 40 hours of sleep. What's your final score?
It's warm and it's not cold, and I don't like cold.
Patrick.
So as good as I think Louisville is, I just kind of feel Notre Dame. See, I picked this game, and then I'm not even confident in which one I want to go with. Jeez. I'm gonna roll the dice. I don't know. I don't even really know if it's rolling the dice. I'm gonna go Louisville. I'm gonna go Louisville because if you go Notre Dame, then this gives me an opportunity to get caught back up. I'm gonna go Louisville, and this is the reason why. I don't think Notre Dame's defense can stop Louisville's offense. I'm gonna go 27-17 Louisville.
So I like Louisville's team too. I think I know last year is not a precursor to what happens this year. I mean, a lot of stuff changes, and
hey Charles, hold up. We got a comment. Nuruddin 20.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I seen that. I meant to bring that up. That was my bad. Thanks for reminding me. I'm not on Discord like that, so I don't know if you.
But I am, and I'll find you.
You are okay. Cool.
I'll find you. I'll find you, and we'll put you on there. No problem.
Cool.
Carl, make a BOFA Sports Discord. What's wrong with you? Especially if we're gonna be on Twitch. Come on, bro.
Hey, dude, I'm sorry.
Look, you know what? You go -1 point. Bring that thing back up, and you lose a point.
No, absolutely not. Not when you're saying all this craziness when you up from lack of sleep. No, no.
Start a Discord. You should be ashamed of yourself.
27-17. 27-17 is what you got.
Why are you trying to keep me on track?
That's what I do every week. So
I'm pretty good at it, actually.
So look, I with Louisville, yeah, we'll get back on the Discord in a little bit, but with Louisville and Notre Dame, like Louisville smashed Notre Dame last year, and I don't really see too much of a change there. So even though this game is in South Bend, I like Louisville in this game too. I think it'll be pretty close. And I think there's going to be some points in this bad boy too. I think it's going to be something like 34-31, but I'm going to pick Louisville to win a close one.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to go 55-54.
No, I don't see that many points, but I do think it'll be a good amount. Like it's going to get into the 30s, I think.
Okay.
So let's see. My turn. OK State and Kansas State. So
I knew you were going to pick that team. I knew you were going to pick that game.
So both of these teams are coming off of losses. Kansas State got rocked, rocked in BYU. And of course, OK State, they had lost to Utah. So huge game to stay in the race, really, in the Big 12. This game is being played in Manhattan. I got Kansas State. I just kind of think Kansas State is going to correct all those things. Kansas State normally does not play 2 bad games in a row. And coming back at home. Yeah. And so coming back home, I got them winning. I think they'll win pretty solidly. I think I got them winning by 10 or 14 points. I'm going to go, let's go 35-24.
Okay.
Kansas State.
Yeah, you're right, dude. I mean, as much as you want to go Oklahoma State, and and I'm starting to see a lot of holes in that Oklahoma State offense and defense.
And we both picked them to win the Big 12.
I picked them to win the Big 12, and I'm just not sold on them.
Yeah, they're not looking good, man.
They're not looking good, and and a lot of times, look, a lot of people go back, ooh, got y'all. I got y'all. Y'all ain't riding your pick. No, we're gonna ride our pick.
They're right pick. Yeah. They're not looking
these two teams that beat them, or this one team that beat them, and now K-State that's fixing to beat them. Those two teams are going to be their 2 losses. I really do feel. I think moving forward, this is where Oklahoma State will probably realize we need to turn it up. But I think it's going to take a game like this to do it. As much as I want to go with Oklahoma State, I really do. I mean, I really do. Fact of the matter is, like you said, K-State does not have 2 bad games in a row. They just don't. Most teams don't, but this team, they fix what they mess up game previous. So I'm gonna go K-State. But I think the score is gonna be a little bit closer. I think Oklahoma does fight them. I'll go 37-34. K-State.
37-34. Okay. All right.
Because I do feel these offenses are going to. I think these offenses are going to pop off. They're going to pop off this weekend. So I'm gonna go with them. So it's my pick now, right?
Yes, it is.
Well, I'm picking this for one reason and one reason only, because I know who we both are going to pick on this game. There's no doubt about it. But I got to pick it for one reason and one reason only. You ready?
Yes.
Texas and Mississippi State, dude. I got to pick this team because this is Texas's first SEC game. I'm picking it because of that and that alone. That's it. Texas offense is clicking on all cylinders. Their defense is clicking on all cylinders. This is their first, I'm not going to really say their first test, but this is their first SEC game, and I got Texas totally dominating this game, but I wanted to give them a shout out because this is their first SEC game. I'm going to go 37-7.
Mississippi State is in a bad way. They had just lost their starting quarterback for the year.
Mm-hmm. This is a softball game for us both.
54-10 is what I have. I do.
It wouldn't surprise me they throw up 65 just to say, hey, Tennessee, we did one more point better than you did in the first half.
I think this is going to be rough for Mississippi State. So yeah, I think Texas gets to half 100 again, or over half 100. I think it's going to be 54-10. I think this game is going to get away pretty quickly.
So I just wanted to be completely clear. The reason why I'm picking it was because I wanted to give them a shout out to be in the first SEC game. And I've been riding high on Texas for like 4 years.
So. Yeah, it's 7. No,
I'm like that. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me any.
Here's one, man. Arkansas and Texas A&M.
That's a good one.
So both teams have a loss. Arkansas lost in overtime to OK State, and A&M got beat by Notre Dame. Dude, I like Arkansas. I think Arkansas is going to pull this one out. These games, this game between these two teams is normally it's one of the funner games of the season. Really, it's always down to the wire. There's always a lot of it's always back and forth. There's always a lot of just. The energy when those two fan bases come together. Of course, we know these are old rivals from the old Southwest Conference, and of course, they've been playing in the SEC for these years. But I like what Arkansas is bringing. It looks like Sam Pittman has recaptured a little bit of that mentality, that magic that he had when he first won as the Arkansas coach. Looks like they are back to running the football well. They have a playmaking quarterback as well, and their defense is actually playing pretty good too. A&M, as you know, they've been a little bit uneven throughout the year. I mean, they played Bowling Green last week, and it was Bowling Green they played last week, and they got out of there 26-20.
Yeah, something like that. I'll fact check that.
Yep, it was Bowling Green. So
did you already look it up?
I did.
You had that in your notes.
No, I had the page. The wonderful tabs. You can just go ahead and you pull this stuff up beforehand. Hey, that's my version of the note taking. But
you got tabs. Don't get me wrong, I got tabs too.
But yeah, 26-20, Bowling Green. And look, Bowling Green, we just mentioned they played Penn State stuff. So maybe Bowling Green might be pretty good. But I have Arkansas winning this game, man. I think it's gonna be I'll go 35-28. A&M losing to Arkansas. That's what I have.
Okay. So I look, you're gonna leave it up to me to make it interesting. I want to go Arkansas, but I'm gonna go Texas A&M because we can't agree.
You gotta catch up. I get it.
We can't agree on everything, right? So I'm gonna go Texas A&M. I know they're struggling, and Arkansas looks like everything is, it looks like it's going in their direction. But here's the thing, like you said, old-time rivalries, and you know what rivalries do? They prepare well. And I do feel that this Texas A&M team will be prepared well I'm not going to say great, but I do feel like they escape. Even though they're playing in Arlington, though, right?
They're gonna play in AT&T Stadium. That's what they've been playing
in Arlington.
Yeah.
So I think they show up. I mean, they're not playing in College Station, so it's a 2:30 game. So you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that College Station at night 6 o'clock game where it's really hard to play. You're playing in Arlington under that big jumbotron Jerry Jones put up and makes all his money because of his awesome Dak Prescott that will never take him to a Super Bowl. Anyway, I'm gonna go Texas A&M, but I think they escape. I think they escape with a win. I'm gonna go 34-31.
34-31?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Patrick, so that leaves Georgia and Alabama.
Are we counting this game too?
Huh?
Are we counting this game too?
Of course. Yes. Of course. So go ahead, bring it in, man. This is your game.
You know who I'm going for. You know who I'm going for. Look, no Nick Saban, even though Nick Saban's there. I mean, look, he's probably going to be at the game somewhere, radioing in all the calls because Kalen DeBoer can't do it. But here's my thing. You know, what did I tell you? Win, lose, or draw is always Bobo's fault. Always. So, Bobo.
That is Georgia's offensive coordinator, just in case.
Bobo. If you call one freaking bubble screen in the first drive, I will be so irritated. Here's the problem. He's going to run 3 of them. Watch, Charles, because you're going to be down here watching it with me in person. And here's the thing. If Bobo does it, all you're going to do is laugh. And you're going to see me turn beet red as this shirt because I'm going to be so mad. But I will say this. Both of these offenses are high-powered. I mean, Melrose he's going to do everything in his power to run that ball and throw that ball and do everything he needs to do to win this game. Carson Beck is going to do everything in his power to ignore everything that Bobo is trying to tell him to do and do the right thing instead of Bobo's thing, which is the wrong thing. I think Georgia just needs to leave it on the ground and just run. Take the ball and just shove it down Alabama's throat. If they can do this, they will win. So, but I feel they can. I'm going to go Georgia. And without the Nick Saban effect, and many people know what I always say about the Nick Saban effect, it's always the coaches that come from Nick Saban's camp that struggle to beat Nick Saban. And we all will always say, most people will debate it, but dude, he's the best college coach of all time in history. You know, he's just the best. And I think Kirby Smart does not fall victim to that. And I'm going to go Georgia 30-21.
Okay, win it by almost 10 points. I got you. So all right. Yes, the Nick Saban effect, huge. That I always felt there was just a little bit of an edge. For whatever reason, and this is from the other times I have actually picked Georgia to beat Alabama in whatever the game, whether it's a SEC championship game, national championship game, whatever. What ends up happening a lot of times in those games is Georgia has a game plan. Georgia executes the game plan for the first, I say, quarter and a half. This is being executed to a T, flawlessly. Alabama hits a big play somewhere. It might be defensive, it might be offensive, like the year in that SEC championship game when Georgia was up 10-0. This was 2021. Georgia was up 10-0, and then bam, big play to Jamison Williams from Bryce Young. And all of a sudden, Georgia decided we're just going to throw the ball all over the place.
Yep.
And it just took Georgia completely out of the game. And I think Kirby Smart, and this was the only team I really saw that against, to where he would just scrap the game plan, to where he would just.
Well, Lane Kiffin does it too.
No. I'm talking about Kirby Smart against the other teams. He wouldn't scrap the game plan against.
Oh, yeah.
Against Bama, scrap. Just a big play happened. Oh my gosh, we got to change everything. So now that Nick Saban is gone, I do that. Like that accounts really 7 points for me. Just that Nick Saban effect. Yeah. So with that being said, I do think Georgia will be back to doing those things, being methodical and playing to their strengths. With both of the teams having a bye week as well, I think that gave a lot, like that game against Kentucky, I think really drove home some things, and I think Kirby Smart was in Georgia's ass. With that being said, I think I have Georgia winning 27-23. Would not, of course, be surprised if Alabama does win this game. They're playing in Tuscaloosa. Milroe looks good. That receiver they have, Nick Williams, 17 years old. He's a dynamite receiver, dude. For 17 years old,
17 years old, and he is electrifying, dude.
Yes.
Watching him play, I'm just like, wow, that kid is fast. He catches in any direction. Just tough kid for 17 years old, man. He's tough.
So I'll say this though, Patrick, if y'all lose to Alabama this time, I'm not picking y'all to beat Alabama. Like, if
we lose, I'll never pick Georgia to beat Alabama ever again.
Yeah.
Like, I will literally go, oh, we got Alabama, so we got one loss on our schedule.
Yeah.
I will never pick them again. Like, ever. I mean, like, everybody's like, oh, dude, Georgia's ranked number 1 and Alabama has 1-star recruits and they haven't won all season. I'll be like, I don't give a crap. Alabama beat them. I'll never pick them again. This marks the year right here. If Georgia does not beat Alabama, I will never pick Georgia to beat Alabama ever again. And I'll be like, well, Alabama doesn't even have a team. I'll be like, Alabama won by default.
Yeah.
Well, they're playing a bunch of high school. They're playing like 14-year-olds. Alabama won.
So for a rundown of the 6 games we have on there, we agree with Illinois and Penn State, having Penn State winning. We both have Louisville beating Notre Dame. We both have K-State beating Oklahoma State. We have Texas destroying Mississippi State. The one we disagree on is Arkansas and Texas A&M. So you have A&M, I have Arkansas, and then we both have Georgia winning. All right. So, of course, as we go on through, we will update the board, and we'll see if Patrick is tied or if I go back up by 2. And if
Texas A&M, don't let me down, baby. Don't let me down. The only reason why I have a stick in this fire is because I need you to win so that I can tie Charles up. Don't fail me.
So with that, Patrick, let's spend a few minutes on the NFL. You know what? No, I was going to say I'm kind of scared to ask you what stuck out, but no, screw it. What stuck out to you last week in the NFL?
Let me pull up my notes. I have to. I had to say, let me pull up my notes. So the Philly New Orleans game. That was, dude. It was like 2 totally different New Orleans teams I've seen for the past 2 weeks, and then Philly gonna come into New Orleans and handle them like that. Woo! Philly was mad because the Falcons beat them the last week. That's what it was. They were like, you know what? I'm gonna take all my aggression out on this New Orleans team because y'all in the same division, and I was happy. Don't get me wrong, I was happy. I was like, you tear them Saints asses up, do it. And they did, and I was happy, and I was pissed off with the Falcons. Of course, the Falcons got to blow that game with Kansas City. But I'm going to point this game out. And I think you did a shorty on this one. Well, you did a shorty on Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm.
That Indianapolis-Chicago game. And let me tell you, this offense at Chicago is absolutely horrendous. It's horrible. And nothing's changing this because you put Caleb Williams in there. That defense, on the other hand, is for real. That defense is keeping them in every single game, scoring more points than the offense. When your defense scores more points than your offense, that's horrendous. Horrible. Pathetic. That Chicago team should be
52 passes, Patrick. 52 passes they threw with Caleb Williams.
52. I didn't know it was that high. I thought it was like 45.
No.
But
52.
You can't, and then on top of that, you're wondering what.
I took notes.
You did? In your tab, you took notes? Look, nothing's going to change in Chicago. Nothing's going to change in Chicago. I will say this. Justin Fields looking good in Pittsburgh. But he also has a quarterback coach that knows what he's doing. In Chicago, they don't have crap. They don't have crap. This is totally different than Northern Illinois and Illinois. I don't know what Chicago is doing, but they think that getting this high-powered quarterback is going to change anything. How about getting a quarterback coach that can teach them how to play football? Because this is the first time, when I was watching that Pittsburgh game, the first time that I actually saw Justin Fields have a light over his head and go, oh, that's what that means. I see. I understand. I get how to read defenses.
He's getting protection too, Patrick. And forget about the offensive line. And with the offensive line, real quick, with the Bears, this was supposed to be improved. And what I had said on that shorty was, it can't be that you're getting these results with Justin Fields and you want to blame Justin Fields when the same thing is happening with Caleb Williams, but it's everything else. That's the problem, except for Caleb Williams. The people, these talking heads, these bandwagon hoppers, no, cannot let them get away with that. Oh, no. Call a square a square. Do not sit here and change just because of who's involved. And that was.
And I will make this one last comment.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to leave it at that. With Chicago, if you're not going to change and you're always going to find something that is the problem other than your quarterback, then start pointing it to the coaching staff. That's where it starts. It starts there. And if you don't have somebody teaching him, and on top of this, we've said this many times, if you're going to draft this high draft quarterback, take in consideration that he is going against other people that may not have as much talent as him. When you get to the NFL, those linebackers, those linemen, those corners, those safeties, they're faster. They came from teams that were in national championship contention.
Everybody has talent in the NFL.
Everybody has talent in the NFL. Yeah. And when you pull that one linebacker out and you're like, wow, we might have it. No, he came from a top 25 team that just so happens the other guy has just about this much more experience and is about this much faster. That's it. Caleb Williams is not going to be able to do what he does in college in the NFL, which is, what does he do? Let's run to my right and throw on the run. No, bro. Guess what? Linebackers already got you. Guess what? Corners already did a split and it's gone. And if he's going to underthrow, which he did in this last game, if he's going to underthrow, guess what? It's going to go back the other way for 6 points. You can't keep doing what you're doing in Chicago and expect to win. You can't. And when I tell you, when I watched Justin Fields play Atlanta the week 1, dude, totally different player, dude. Totally different player. When you got somebody teaching you how to run an offense and teaching you how to read defenses, it makes for a better player, believe it or not. Chicago, got to learn something. We've got to learn something from that. And if you're not going to learn it and you're just going to keep picking up these quarterbacks and having bad quarterback after bad quarterback after bad quarterback, you really got to start looking internally, not just making excuses.
And a couple of things also that stuck out this year. So how about the Minnesota Vikings? So these guys are sitting here; they're 3-0. They whooped the Houston Texans the other night. This is coming off of a win over the San Francisco 49ers. And Minnesota is looking pretty good. Now, obviously, lots of season left. We'll see what materializes.
Quietly.
But they are doing this with Sam Darnold at quarterback. Sam Darnold actually, go figure, man, he looks like he can actually play because he's got an offensive play caller up there and Kevin O'Connell as a head coach who is, I don't know, coaching him. Like I don't know. Like how is that you have a coach who is actually doing his job? That is crazy to me.
I know, right? Yeah. I know. And here's another game that I want to point out because, and kudos to Minnesota for what they're doing. I mean, like, you got a coach, you got an offensive coordinator that can help Sam.
And good defense too.
And good defense. They're playing very well, quietly, 3-0. It ain't gonna last long because they got who they got this coming up week. Oh, we'll talk about it in a minute. Because they're looking good. And I have to point this game out. Where's it at? Carolina and Las Vegas, dude. Bryce Young, all of a sudden, gets benched. Andy Dalton, out of all people, Ginger Dalton, steps out there. I know I'm going to probably get hate for that and get canceled. Ginger Dalton steps out there and owns Vegas. Owns them. I think they might be a quarterback change in Carolina.
Well, I mean, since they already benched Bryce Young, look, I mean, well, yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's Las Vegas, I'm gonna see.
But it may be Las Vegas, but it was Carolina.
I think they got a they got a bump. They were sitting there. They were just like, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna put this quarterback in. Now everybody's feeling a little bit good, and then reality's gonna hit them in the face, and
and they'll realize they really don't have a quarterback at all.
Yeah.
and then it's like, I don't know what we do with our hands. Guess what?
So
I like it because it gives Atlanta at least 2 wins.
so Patrick, what are you looking forward to for next week?
Well, it's always an interesting game when Dallas and New York is same record.
And Patrick, I'm boycotting Dallas talk. Like if you're,
but I just thought it was funny that New York and Dallas have the same record. That high-powered Super Bowl winning Dallas Cowboys tied with the New York Giants.
We're not talking about the Cowboys. No, we're not talking about this overrated.
Come on, Charles.
Money machine. No.
All right, you don't have time to have a bad time. I get it.
Ugh, what else? Yuck.
We'll move on. No problem.
Like Dak Prescott, jump off if you want. Man, please. Never mind. Nope. Because if I continue going, it's going to turn into an Atlanta Falcons rant. I don't want to do it. What's next, Patrick? What's next?
Dude, Buffalo and Baltimore. On a serious note, Buffalo and Baltimore. Whew, that's going to be a good game, dude. Like, I mean, they're playing in Baltimore, and Baltimore needs a win. And from all indications, Buffalo can't be stopped, dude. Bills Mafia must be happy right now.
Buffalo's looking really solid, man.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, it's like, look, Baltimore looks good. Baltimore. I'd say Baltimore has its opportunity to look good. I mean, by all rights, they probably should be 2-1, instead of 1-2. But you know, a toe out of bounds here, a toe out of bounds there, whatever. Everybody's being pissed off at Kansas City because they keep getting calls. I'm with you. In the end zone, and you wouldn't give my Falcons the pass interference. That's all right. It's all right. It's all right. We'll just go 4 and out twice in a row and lose the game. It's, typical Falcons football. Anyway, I'm not going to get into a rant. Bills Mafia must be happy doing their thing, and they look solid. I don't see why they wouldn't beat Baltimore at this point. They're solid, top to bottom.
One more game before we get out. You mentioned it earlier with the Vikings. They play at Green Bay, and that's going to be a good one. Look, Green Bay, behind the play of Malik Willis. Remember, Jordan Love is still out, but Malik Willis is looking like a quarterback. And again, coaching. Matt LaFleur is actually coaching the quarterbacks. Go figure. I don't know. Like, it's amazing what happens when quarterbacks actually do their jobs.
Or coaches actually coach them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a light goes off above their head, and it's like, oh, so it's really, that makes sense.
Because my thing is, remember when everybody was throwing dirt on these quarterbacks? Sam Darnold on the other side for Minnesota. Everybody's throwing dirt on Sam Darnold. Everyone acted like Malik Willis couldn't play. And Malik Willis played, 2-3 games in his career? And we're already saying he can't play. He doesn't belong in here. And he actually looks like a quarterback. I don't know. I guess it's amazing when, like you said, coaches actually say, hey, I got this guy. I need to help him out. He needs something from me. If I want this system to be ran, I need to tell him how to run it. And so, go figure. Jeez.
Supervision. I mean,
that's
mind-blowing.
That's a life problem, not just a football problem. So Patrick, before we
get fired.
Yeah. So before we get out, Patrick, what is coming up on Pro Epic?
So, nobody really knows. We kind of mentioned it, but Charles is coming to my neck of the woods, and we have a football challenge that we are doing. We are going to break out bubble balls and have a flag football game. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be epic as always, and it's going to be a ton of fun. So Charles is going to help me co-host that, and we might even put him in a bubble ball.
Yes, I'll be down to get
knock some kids around.
Yeah, I'll be down to get it. Absolutely, I would.
I'm gonna knock them out. But we also got another co-host. One of the kids is going to actually co-host with us, so we're going to have 3 hosts for this episode. So we're going to have a lot of fun, and it's going to be a good episode. So stay tuned for that one.
All right.
And bucket golf. We're bringing bucket golf in too. So be ready for that one, Charles. I just threw that in your face that you're going to be playing bucket golf.
So very excited to be playing bucket golf. Thanks for the alert. And
be ready. Bucket golf.
And being in a bubble ball as well. I look forward to coming on down and kicking it with you and your family, man. It's been a little bit since I've been down there. So really looking forward to just getting down there, watching football with you. And also, Patrick, so I don't know if you got to talk to the bar owner down there, but will we be able to do an episode from there?
I'm going to try.
Okay. All right.
I have not seen her, or met with her, or even been to the salons. I've been busy with a couple other things, but I'm hoping so. But yeah, we'll see what I can do in the next day or two.
All right, so stay tuned for that, y'all. But if it does work out that way, then yeah, we'll be doing next week's show from a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's Buffalo Jack's, which is
So no promises on that yet. We'll see what transpires, but either way, we'll get a show in. But yeah, we can get that environment in there. I think it's going to be pretty fun. So other than that, a great show tonight. That is what we are breathing on for tonight. Y'all make sure y'all visit the BOFA Sports YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, and follow the BOFA Sports Facebook page.
We are also on Spotify, YouTube Music, and Apple Podcasts. So don't forget about those as well.
Yes, we are on podcast forums. So those three, and wherever you listen to your podcast.
Cool, I like that. I like that. But I like it.
So everybody take care. A lot of stuff coming as we get into this fall season. So be on the lookout. Get on this ride with us because we going places. Other than that, everybody enjoy the games, and we will talk to y'all soon.